We're talking about properties of rational exponents, and we want to use properties of rational exponents to simplify expressions with rational exponents. So we want to simplify the expression, and the answer should contain only positive exponents. So here we have negative 2y divided by 4 times y to the third power. So we have the coefficients out front, and so we have to try to reduce those as much as possible. So we should know that 2 divided by 4, they're both divisible by 2, so we can reduce this 1 to 1/2. So we can divide 2 by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 1, and 4 divided by 2 is 2, so our coefficient reduces to 1/2. Now there's two ways to think about how we can simplify the variables here. We can use quotient of a power, where if we have the same base in the numerator and the denominator, then we can just subtract the exponents. So here we could rewrite this as, so we have y, and if it's not written, we understand that there's a 1 there. So y to the first minus 3, which would be y to the negative 2. So if we have negative 2 exponent there, now we can use the negative exponent, and we can move that to the denominator. So we reduced we still have the negative sign, so let's put the negative sign down. We reduced our coefficients, which was to 1/2. And then we used used the quotient of a power. So we said y to the 1 minus 3 gave us negative 2, but that's understood in the numerator. So now we can use the negative exponent, and we can take that's in the numerator and move it to the denominator with a positive exponent. Next one we have here is we have 4n to the 0, m to the negative 1, n to the negative 2. And so the first thing I want to do is I want to rewrite everything that I know in order to make it positive like this one was over here. So there's nothing to cancel the coefficient out. I'm just going to write down the 4. Then I know that n to the 0, anything to the 0 power is the 0 exponent rule. So that is just equal to 1. So that n to the 0 becomes 1. And then if it has a negative exponent, in this case, we're using negative exponent, we can move it from the denominator to the numerator, and we make it positive. So then it becomes m to the first n squared. And at this point, we don't have anything that we can simplify other than we can say 4 times 1 is still 4, and then we can just write down what we have there. So that's going to be equal to 4m n squared. So over here, the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to rewrite this fraction to make sure that all my exponents are positive. So I'm going to have m to the negative third has to go later. So we have 3m squared, n squared, m to the third. So now we have multiplication. So we have products of powers, where we have m squared times m to the third. So we can rewrite that. Nothing that we can do in the numerator, so that's just going to be n over, and then we have 3m squared plus 3, because we have m squared there and an m to the third there, and then n squared. So we have an n to the first power and an n squared in the denominator. So I can write that down as n1 minus 2. So that is going to be equal to n to the negative 1. So I can use the quotient power, and I can write that n to the negative 1 in the denominator as 1. So the n is gone from the numerator because we canceled it with one of these n's. So the only thing we have left in the numerator is just a 1. And then we have the 3. 2 plus 3 is m to the 5th. And then we have just n in the denominator. That's the negative 1. Understood 1 there. We moved it to the denominator. So that is our answer.